Yes. Tonight we have this lovely Ol Aurion, and it rocked up on fire. So it's got a pretty severe oil leak.
Take it here. No.
So we're going to try and find out where it's coming from. So you can see there's oil everywhere.
Yes.
So we just put another 1.5 litres in it, and we'll see if we can start it and find out where it's coming from. She's a squirter. Righto, so getting into this oil line. It's not just a short pipe, it actually has an elbow in it that goes down in behind the timing case. So this cover will need to be removed. It's a bit hard to see, but there's a bolt down there you can see, and there's another bolt up top here, which you can't really see. It's sort of hidden in the back there, but anyway, so there's two 10mm bolts. This cover will come off. The easiest thing to do is to take the engine mount off, always 14mm. Alright, so you've got one here to the back side, and then there's 3 along here, and then you've got a bracket that goes there. So take the bracket off, there's 2 12mm nuts on the bracket, and these are all 14mm bolts on the top of the engine mount. So the engine mount sits in like so, and then you can get to the banjo fitting a lot easier, which I've already taken out. So that goes in here. Now, banjos are very, very tight, and you need a single hex socket to get them off. Otherwise, you're going to strip the head. So it's a 17mm. It feels loose, but it's the right size. And then from there, I took the hose clamp off, but I split the pipe so I could measure the pipe and get the right size hose. And now I just got to pull the timing cover off. Unfortunately, because it's so close, there's not much to see. So I'll give you updates as I go. So this sort of gives you a bit of an idea. I've got my hand in there past all these pipes, and I've got my fingertips on the head of the bolt. And luckily they're not tight. They had to be cracked with a ratchet, but they're not tight in the respect I can unwind it with my fingertips. Alrighty, so now this should come off like so. And then in here, see if I can get that. So you can see it down in there where the other clamp is. So I'll have to try and weasel this cover out somehow so I can get in there. Okay, so we've got a 10mm oil hose, and it fits on the pipe perfectly, which is great. So I'll slid it down there onto that other fitting down there, and I just need to get a hose clamp down there, and then I'll line up this banjo up the top here and cut the pipe down and put it all back together. Alrighty, just like that, we have a new hose. Okay, the factory one was a pre-formed hose with a 90-degree bend, but the bend's that gradual that and it's going to have pressure in it, so it's not crushed off or anything. So that's the only thing to keep in mind, is just make sure that you don't have too much length on this hose. You can't have it too short, but you can't have it too long, because otherwise it will put pressure in this point down here, and it'll kink off, which obviously means that you're not going to get VVT, and you'll have issues. Okay, so this is all back together there. I'm going to put these cover back on, just those 2 bolts into the cover, and then reinstall the engine mount, and then we can run a flush through it, and I'm just going to do an oil change on it because we don't know if it's been compromised. We'll get rid of that burnt sludgy oil, anything that's left, and get some new oil in it. Okay, so we're back together. We've got our new hose on there. Got our new hose on. The banjo pipes all, banjo fittings all tightened up. We've got our engine mount back on and bracketry. So I'm going to put a flush, engine flush through the engine. This does up to 5 litres. This capacity of this car is just over 6 litres, 6.4 quarts. But we don't have 5 litres in there because it's not completely full, and I'm not going to waste any more oil topping this up just to change an oil, do an oil change. So it'll be a bit more concentrated, but that's not going to be a bad thing in this motor. You can see in there, there's a bit of sludge, so hopefully we can get that to clean up. This particular flush, you run the engine for about 15 minutes and it will circulate and get up to temperature, and the detergents will start breaking down some of that sludge. Alright, fingers crossed it's all good to go. So I'm going to fire it up now, and we'll make sure that we don't have any more leaks there.